Okay, so good morning, everybody. Welcome. Um, my thought for you that I am playing with is who here or here never finishes anything?
I have a hard time.
Yeah, raise your hand, be honest. Yeah. So my thought is that I find it very interesting that in regular life, many people have this, and I am one of them, that I will read 3/4 of a book and then skim through the last bit and say I finished it, or we'll just plain never finish a lot of things. There's this resistance, right, to finishing things. There's a resistance to just completing a task or completing a process, completing a cycle, completing a thought process, whatever it is. And that we find that this happens in our spiritual practice as well, is that often when we are making the greatest progress, right, is when we come up against resistance. And that resistance, right, that moment before there's the big breakthrough or there's the coming through to the other side, is where we get that feeling of like, maybe I'll just take a break, right? And then you take the break and it's that same thing of never going back to finish the book, or never going back to finish the project, never going back to actually complete the process, right? So this is my thought, is that when you find yourself in those moments, right, even if you're like, that doesn't really happen to me, probably happens sometimes, right? When you find yourself in those moments of really potentially making progress and finding yourself wanting to back off from the intensity of that, right? That's where our practice really is the most important, is when we're in that moment of, I really want to back off from it. The moment you feel like you want to avoid or run away, that's where the practice really has to kick in, of just stay, right? Because the idea is that you don't have to push forward. And this is where many of us who experience that resistance to finishing things get caught, because you start to push yourself and say, what's wrong with you? Why can't you just finish? And that doesn't help, right? It doesn't get us to a place of really accepting what we're feeling or what we're moving through or what we're moving towards. Even more important is it just creates more resistance. So the moment, right, where you are making the greatest progress may be the moment where you also feel the greatest resistance. And in feeling that resistance, right, the thing that you're trying to avoid is actually where your practice kicks in. And the practice is in just staying, right? Not in trying to push forward, but just staying where you are. And by not giving up the energy of staying, you don't lose that momentum. You don't lose the desire to progress or the desire to keep moving forward. But you give yourself the time and the space to actually feel where you are, right? And that's what we tend to miss in those moments of resistance, is that we just want to get away from it one way or the other. I want to be done with it, or I want to go away. So if you can just stay where you are, no pressure to move forward or back, I guarantee the progress will continue, right? A door will open, a little sliver of relaxation or relief will come. But it's in those moments where you are making your greatest progress that you will often feel the greatest resistance. So don't run from that. A comfortable seat if you're not there already. Let the eyes close. And just find yourself coming into your breath in an easy way. The sort of feeling where you take a breath, where you realize that whatever it is that you think you have to do today, the world's not going to end if you don't do it. Whatever you've been carrying in your mind for the entire week that you're planning to continue to carry into Monday, just put it aside for a second. Your greatest practice is to just be here. Find the breath and just all of those things that your mind would prefer to avoid. You don't have to engage them, but just let it be there. The Buddhists call it being okay with uncertainty. Questions that have no answers. Having no idea that even if you complete the project, the cycle, the thought process, that what comes from that will be what you hope it will be. Instead, we breathe into the spaciousness, we breathe into the opportunity for that resistance to not be what fills our inner world. It's just a moment, just an experience. One more full breath, agreeing that you are not accomplishing anything today. And then bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. Open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release your hands. And then just for a moment, let the hands rest on the knees or the thighs. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears or squeeze them up high and then drop them. And then squeeze them up and drop them. Squeeze them up and drop them. So you're not pushing them down, you're squeezing and then you're dropping. So you're letting the whole weight of the shoulders just move themselves. Squeeze them up and drop. And squeeze and drop. Squeeze and drop. Squeeze and drop. Good. Squeeze. Keep going. Nice. Right? Neck tightness tends to be a symptom of shoulder tightness, upper back tightness. It's probably not your neck or it didn't originate from your neck. Just like your shins are not an issue with your shins. It's usually from somewhere else. Good, a couple more times. Most of our problems do not originate where we feel them, right? Good, last time, up and squeeze and then drop. Nice, and then stretch the arms out and wide. Good, turn your palms to face up, please. Good, and with the palms facing up, make little circles with your arms. Arm circles. Good, try to keep your upper body as still as you can. So you're dropping through your seat. You're really just moving through the arms, moving through the upper back. Good. And then move your circles the other direction. Yep. No spaghetti elbows, so keep your elbows nice and engaged. Good. It's official yogic term, spaghetti elbows. I would look up Sanskrit for that, but I don't even know if they have a word for spaghetti. Good. One more breath, please. Doing this. Nice. And then inhale, both arms up to the sky. Interlace your fingers. Press the heels of the hands up, 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 up. Good. Pull up through your middle ribs. Pull up through your low belly. And then press down into your seat so you lengthen your lower spine. Good. And then bend your elbows wide, pressing the backs of the hands towards the top of your head as you press the top of your head up into your hands. Your hands are still clasped. Good. So you're not taking your hands behind your head. So come back to that position where the arms are straight, fingers interlaced. So it's the same hand position. You're not changing it. Bend your elbows wide, push up through the crown of your head as you bring the elbows out and the hands down. So you get that feeling of really pulling the shoulders away from the ears. One more time, press the hands up, fingers still interlaced, squeeze the upper arms. And then as you bend the elbows wide, pull the armpits down as you press up through the crown of your head. So doing both of those things at the same time is what helps make a lot of space in your upper back. Good. And then release the hands out and down. Nice. Roll forward onto hands and knees. I know that was just the first chisel into your into your neck and back. Good. Hands and knees, please. Cat and cow. Inhaling, lengthening the spine, lifting chest and tail, and then exhaling, curling and rounding. And I would say, especially if your neck is talking to you today or making itself a presence, is to pay attention to how much in your cat-cow you are initiating the movement or trying to initiate the movement from your neck or from your head, right? The movement is really about the pelvis and the rib cage. So if you're paying attention to my pelvis and my rib cage moving, is the neck stays very neutral. So watch how much you are tilting your chin forward on the inhale or how much you are dropping your head on the exhale. Is there should be this sensation as you inhale that you don't look up so much as you press through the top of your head, right? That's different. So your gaze can be more neutral, but press up through the top of your head. And then as you exhale, same thing, as you're not dropping the head lower, but as the chin tucks, you're pulling up through the back of your throat. So this is going to keep the upper back more engaged. Good. And if that makes no sense and you're just doing cat-cow the way you like to do it, Feel free. Nice, you guys. Good. And then bring yourself back to stillness, please, where you are either neither arched nor rounded. And then walk your hands back in, please. Take your hands up to your hips and take your right leg out wide to the right. Good. Gate pose. So heel in line with your left knee. My suggestion is foot flat to the floor, but if you want to try it up on your heel, you're welcome to. Just realize that that's a different stretch on the hip, right? It's a different stretch on the leg. So it's your choice. Stretch the arms up alongside your ears. Good. Interlace your fingers, press the heels of the hands up towards the sky. Good. And then lean away from the extended leg. So you're reaching to your left, so away from the extended leg. Good. And push out through the hands. Nice. As you push out, press through that right foot. This is also why it's a little easier to keep the foot flat and feel that lift of the inner thigh. So you're trying to actually lift that hip a little higher. Nice, Victoria. Good, Lynn. You got it, Melody. Awesome. Come all the way back up to center. Stretch your arms out wide. Letter T. Now reach the rib cage out and down. So right hand reaches down the right thigh, left arm comes over the ear. Good, side body stretch. Still have that feeling though that right leg, you're still trying to lift that inner thigh and keep that hip point lifted a little higher. Good, so you're not collapsing into that leg and you're pulling taller through the left side of your side body. So that left hip pulls up off of your thigh. Good. Keep the left arm where it is. Take your right arm up alongside your right ear. So both arms are reaching out to the right. Good, navel engaged, squeeze the foot and the knee towards each other. And then keep your left arm reaching over the ear, slide your right arm so that it faces forward, straight out from your chest. So the arms are now crisscrossed. Yep. So the right arm is reaching underneath you, exactly. And then twist your ribs open a little more. That's it. Good, and then come all the way back up, navel to spine. And then release your hands down to the floor. Keep that right leg extended. Walk your hands forward like you're in a modified down dog with that right leg out to the side. Good. Nice, you guys. Breathing deep. You can drop onto your forearms if you want to, but the arms extended gives you a little bit more openness through the shoulders. But absolutely pay attention to where your resistance is. And instead of throwing yourself at it and trying to force it to feel different, move to where there's more space. Good. This is true in a physical sense in our practice. It's true in an emotional and a mental sense as well. Where there is resistance, don't throw yourself at it. Notice it and then find where there's space and just let it be. Good. Right? You continue to practice as long as you continue to do something. Your awareness continues to be there. You don't run away. You don't avoid. Whatever is beyond that resistance will keep coming to you. Walk your hands back in. Good. And then switch the legs, please. So right knee underneath the right hip. Take the left leg out wide, hands to your hips, or come all the way back to vertical. Make sure that that left heel is in line with your right knee. So that means that your hip points, right, the bony part at the front of your pelvis should be in the same line with each other, right? Good. So if we don't start there, then we're starting with a lot more work to do, right? If our pelvis is out of alignment, it's a lot more work for our muscles to do, and we're potentially aggravating the lower back, which is the last thing that I want you complaining to me about, is your lower backs. Take your arms up to the sky. Good. Interlace your fingers, press the heels of the hands up. So you're pulling up through your side ribs and then lean to your right, away from the extended leg. Good. And as you lean, you're drawing your low rib cage in, push through that left heel. Feel as though you are lifting that left inner thigh and left hip just higher, just a little bit higher. So you're keeping that leg really open. Nice, Andrea. Really good. Nice, Juliet. Nice, Dana. Good, Lena. Nice, Alana. Excellent, you guys. Come all the way back up to center. Please take your arms out wide, letter T. And then slide that left hand down the left leg. Right arm comes over the ear. Side stretch. And as you're reaching to that side, you're pulling up through that right outer thigh, that right outer hip. So that's your supporting legs getting taller. And then you're lifting that left inner thigh just a little higher. So again, it's like you're widening the legs here, but you're squeezing the foot and the knee towards each other. Good. Keep the right arm where it is. Take the left arm up underneath your ear as well. So both hands reaching out to the left. Good. Navel to spine. And then keep that right arm right where it is. Slide the left arm underneath you so it points straight out from your chest and pull through that hand. So it's helping you twist your ribs open a little bit more. There you go. Good. Watch what crazy thing your head is doing. Keep it in line with your spine. Good. There you go. Nice, Maria. And then come all the way back, please. Arms out wide. Beautiful. And then release the hands down to the floor. Keep that leg extended. Walk your hands forward again into that sort of modified down dog position. Even here, try and keep your right low belly and that right outer hip lifted just a little wider so that your left inner thigh, the extended thigh, can rotate in. Good. Nice, you guys. Good, Victoria. Beautiful. I know it's an awkward position. Nice, nice, nice. Take your last breath, again, softening through the upper back. Good, and then walk yourself all the way back in. Please come back to hands and knees. Do a little more cat and cow, inhaling, lengthening your spine, lifting up through your chest, exhaling, bowing in. Again, paying attention to how much the head is either moving with your spine or how much you're trying to force the action through what your head is doing. So do less of a dramatic tilt of your chin forward and up, and instead pay attention to how long your neck gets in relationship to your shoulders. Good. Nice, you guys. And then come back to stillness, please. Beautiful. Spread your fingers wide, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. So why spread the fingers? Because when you spread your fingers, it starts to activate more of the muscles up through your arms, right? Forearms, upper arms into your shoulders. Good. Bend your knees a lot, please. Drop your hips towards your heels in your down dog. Pull back through the pelvis, pull back through the hips. Nice. And then lift the hips nice and high again. And as you start to straighten the legs, soften through the heels and pull the crown of your head towards your thumbs and feel like you are dragging your hands up and into your shoulder socket. Good. Right foot steps forward between the hands, please. Good. Back heel comes flat. Baby toe parallels back of your mat. Warrior two. Take the shoulders over the hips, arms wide. Good. Nice, you guys. Turn your palms to face up, please. As your palms turn to face up, do that little squeeze behind your heart. So draw the arms up and into the back of the heart, and then soften your rib cage again. Good. And then keeping the palms facing up, drop that left hand towards your back leg. Keep the right arm reaching up, right fingertips up towards the sky, reverse warrior. Keep your left hand palm face up though. Yep. So again, you're keeping that open rotation on the shoulder. Beautiful. And then bring yourself all the way back up to center, arms wide, letter T. And then take the hands back behind you, interlace your fingers at the low spine, shoulders move up towards your ears. So again, that shrug, and then hug the upper arms, the outer armpits towards each other. Good. And then start to lean your torso forward towards the top of your mat. Straighten the arms any amount, pulling the hands towards the back heel. Good. So you're still turned to the side in your warrior two. So your ribs are open. Nice. And then start to curl into your belly, turn your shoulders towards the floor. Keep your back heel on the floor, but bow inside that front thigh. Take the arms up and over any amount if you'd like, or keep them where they are. Nice. Beth, just bring your shoulders more towards the top of your mat. Good. So yeah, that right shoulder, you guys, should be pretty close to right inside your right knee. Nice. Watch your front knee, Virginia, goes a little wider. There you go. And then release the hands down to the floor. Nice job, you guys. Spin your back heel up. Good. Step back, downward facing dog. I was going to make a joke because Dana went faster than I was going to be like, I didn't say down dog.
I was hesitating.
I was just being obstinate. It's fine. Slide forward to plank pose. Good. Lower down slow to your belly. Forehead to the floor. Take your hands back behind your head, elbows wide. Good. Lift the elbows up off of the floor. Keep your gaze down. Press down through the front of the shins, through the front of the feet. Good. And then you're lifting head, neck, and chest, but keeping your gaze straight down to the floor. So again, this is about getting that feeling of the length on your neck. Good. So you're pressing your head up into your hands. So Allison, hands behind your head, elbows wide. There you go. Yeah, crocodile pose. Feet stay on the floor. So Rachel, feet on the floor. I know. This is all about your back, and it's super frustrating because now you're really aware of how much you use your arms in Cobra, right? Good. And if you're squeezing your butt like crazy, just notice that. And then release, please, back down to the floor. Good. Plant your hands for Cobra. Good. Good. Move your hands just a little bit wider. So not completely off of your mat, but a tiny bit wider. And then as you press into your hands, I want you to squeeze your elbows in first. Feel that. And then I want you to keep that feeling that you are hugging your shoulder blades towards each other, but now try to push your inner elbows wide. Yep. So it's like you're squeezing your back, but you're pushing your inner elbows wide. Good. Now maintain that. Rise up into cobra, bringing the chest forward and up between your hands. Good. Back muscles squeeze, but elbows go slightly wide. Don't keep just squeezing the elbows, right? Get it into the shoulder blades are drawing towards each other. Yeah. And then release back down. Nice job. Press up to hands and knees. Child's pose for a breath. Good. Nice, you guys. And then come back downward facing dog. Good. I know, whenever you're ready. Down dog. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Warrior two, back heel comes flat to the floor, cartwheel the arms up, shoulders over the hips. Good. Turn your palms to face up. And so again, you might feel that already there's something because we tend to have that forward rotation of our arm bones and our shoulders. So just turning the palms up starts to give you a little bit different stretch in the upper arms. And then hug those arms into the center of your back. So it's not just squeezing your shoulder blades, but it's pulling the arms in. Good. And then soften your rib cage. And then drop that right hand down to the back leg. Palm continues to face up. Take the left fingertips up to the sky. So you're in reverse warrior, but the shoulders, both arm bones are open rotation. Good. Press into your front heel just a little bit more so you activate the muscle at the back of that thigh. Good. And then come all the way back up, arms wide. Beautiful. Take the hands back behind you, interlace the fingers at the low spine. Again, hugging the shoulders or shrugging the shoulders up towards your ears. Find that squeeze where it feels like your rib cage, the front of your ribs is wrapping around into your middle back, right? And then lean forward. Your left shoulder comes over that left thigh. So it's like you're in side angle. So your ribs are still turned to the side as much as you can. There you go. And as you straighten the arms, reaching towards that back heel, good. Keep the low rib cage in. Nice, Ludmila. Nice, Juliet. Beautiful. And then curl into your belly. Start to turn your ribs forward, taking the arms up and over. That left shoulder is right inside that left knee, dropping the head. Good. And when I say drop the head, it doesn't mean drop it completely, but let it go low and keep that feeling of, again, the back of your throat can lift, but your chin can drop. Nice, Melody. Good, you guys. Keep squeezing that left butt cheek in towards the midline. You got it, Lydia. Beautiful. And then release the hands, please. Nice job. Spin that back heel up. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. And then slide forward to plank pose, upward push up. Good. Drop the right knee down to the floor underneath your right hip. Turn your left heel flat to the floor. Take your left arm up to the sky. Good. So you're pressing through that right shin. Again, pressing out through the baby toe edge of that left foot. So the left leg extends. Good. Take your left arm over the ear, reaching towards the top of your mat. Good. Then lean your right shoulder, right armpit forward over that right wrist a little bit more. Navel to spine. Float your left leg up off the floor. Good. Still reaching with that left arm over the ear. Beautiful. Now press out through that heel like you're trying to pull it to the wall or to the back of your mat, but reach that left shoulder forward more. Good. One more breath. Excellent. And then release that foot back to the floor, please. I know maybe you're frustrated. I didn't say reach for the heel. Release back to hands and knees. You'll live. Left knee stays where it is. Take your right leg back behind you. Good. Toes tucked. Drop the heel flat and then take that right arm up to the sky. Good. So the thing is, right, is we often think that if I could just, force myself into some back bends is that my shoulders would feel better. Not usually the case, right? Maybe we do something, we open up something, but we probably aggravate a lot more. Good. Press through the baby toe of that right foot. Good. Extend that right arm over the ear. So again, reaching side body. Good. So I want you to really be paying attention to not just the arm that's over your ear, but the hand that's on the floor, that you're pushing into that left hand, but you're pulling up through your left armpit. Good. You're pulling that arm up. This is what creates a lot more space in the upper back, is the actual integration of the arms. Good. So it's not the back bending that's going to fix your shoulders, I promise. Good. And then lean forward just a little bit more, weight onto that left hand, float onto the right hand, right leg comes up off the floor. Good. And again, you're just reaching in both directions. So you're pressing out through that right heel, extending your side body that way, and then pulling forward, keeping that left wrist, left wrist and shoulder in alignment. Good. Nice. Keep pulling. Nice, nice, nice. You can open your ribs a little bit more, but you don't need to reach for the foot to find that openness. Good. And then release the foot back to the floor. Please come back to hands and knees. Excellent. A little bit of cat and cow. I have to laugh. I used to be one of those people in my younger days, right, that thought that cat-cow was a waste of my time. Because it didn't make me feel a lot, right? It didn't push me up against my resistance. That's what being, 20 years old and a dancer does, is you don't have any respect for cat-cow. Yeah. Then life unfolds and you realize cat-cow is the way to go. Come back to neutral, please. Good. Downward facing dog. But this is the thing, right, is that our resistance, those things that we avoid, those things that we don't look at, are often the places where our greatest opening actually has the potential to occur, right? So it's all those things that you would willingly say, I don't need that, not interested, I'm going to move away from it. It's what slows our progress. It's what dissolves our willingness to keep opening, right? And that's all the practice of yoga is we just continue to open. Slide forward to plank pose, upward push-up. Good. Take your feet together, inner thighs together, and then feel that lift, almost like you're going to take your hips back up to downward facing dog. So lift your hips just a tiny bit higher, and then feel how that pulls your low rib cage in, your low belly in, and now press into your hands again like you're really pushing the floor away. Good. And now pull your arm bones up into your shoulder sockets. Yep. Feel your chest go wide, push through the top of your head. I know, it's just a really super engaged plank pose on the cusp of Vashisthasana. Good. Now turn onto the right baby toe, stack the feet, right arm holds you, left arm to the sky. Keep that feeling of ribs draw in. Yeah, you can always bring that bottom knee back to the floor if you need, but keep that feeling that you are pulling the arm bones up into the shoulder socket. Beautiful. Nice, Sandra. Good. Nice, Maria. Bring that up, that lifted hand forward just a tiny bit so you can rotate ribs open. Good. Back to hands and knees, please, or back to plank pose first and drop to hands and knees. Take a child's pose. Awkward transition. Go from Vashisthasana to hands and knees. Child's pose. Good. I used to think child's pose wasn't much of anything either. I also never used to understand the concept of rest. So, it all kind of goes together. And that's exactly it. Our practice when we run up against that resistance is that it tends to be in some way, shape, or form, something that we don't completely understand. Because we don't understand it, it feels irritating. And because it feels irritating, we want to get away from it, back to something we do understand or think we understand, what we're familiar with. And so the practice is not to try and force your way into understanding something, but to just sit with the feeling of, I don't know. And that irritation of not knowing, that insecurity of not knowing, that anxiety of not knowing. If we can sit with it, then it no longer drives us away from what we're seeking, which is to feel at home in this body and mind, which is to actually know whatever it is we're seeking to know. Good. Come back up to hands and knees, please. On hands and knees, spread your fingers wide again, because that's activating more muscles in your arms. Round your back like a cat. Good. So as you round your back, again, let your weight of your armpits come slightly forward, like you're taking the tops of your shoulders to the tips of your fingers, but still rounding your back like a cat. Good. And then pull those arm bones up and in as you push down through your hands. Good. Lift the back of your throat so you start to look forward towards the tips of your fingers. Feel your collarbones go wide, chest opens wide. Nice. Now try and take the tops of your thighs up and back. So it's like you're bringing your spine longer. So you're just straightening your spine or lengthening your spine, but you're not dropping the belly or the shoulders at all. Good. And then maintain that, step your feet back to plank pose. Good. And then do just a little bit of lifting your hips a tiny bit higher. And from your middle ribs, feel that lift, like you're pressing up through the middle of your back is pulling up to the sky. Good, because that's what moves you in and out of down dog. Good, and then you're still looking slightly forward, press through the top of your head. Don't look forward with your chin, but press through the top of your head. Good, and then feet together, thighs together, roll onto the baby toe edge of your left foot, left hand holds Uvasisthasana. Keep that feeling of pulling everything up towards the sky. So you're pulling your arm bones up into the center of the back. Nice, good, Nancy. Nice, Elisa. Good, you're rotating the ribs, but everything is pulling in. And don't let your head drop towards the floor. Good. Nice, Mark. Beautiful. Release back to plank pose, please. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Excellent. Deep breath in. Deeper breath out. Good. And then step the right foot forward between the hands, please. Lunge. Good. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket there if you'd like. Anjaneyasana. Inhale both arms to the sky. Good. Interlace your fingers. Press the heels of your hands up towards the sky. So again, pulling up through the side waist, side ribs, all the way up. Deep breath. Good. And then as you exhale, bring the hands forward, pressing out from your chest, round your back. Good. So it's going to feel like your butt moves slightly back in space. So you can really lift up through that left inner thigh. Good. And then inhale the arms back up to the sky, reaching long through the belly. Good. Exhale again. Take the arms forward, round your rib cage back. So don't lean forward. If you lean forward, you completely miss the point, right? Pull your shoulders back, curl. Good. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. Nice, Anastasia. Good, Carla. And then one more time, exhale, bring the hands forward, pull your rib cage back and in, lift those hip points up. Good. And then inhale the arms back up to the sky, please. Nice job. Release the hands down to the floor, both hands inside the front foot. Walk towards that upper left-hand corner of your mat. Good. If you can come down to your elbows, go ahead and do that. You can also place blocks underneath the elbows or stay up on your fingertips. Nice. Good. Notice what you do with your head. I'm like, oh, I was just letting my head hang like dead weight on my shoulders. Letting my head be like dead weight on my neck. Oops. And sometimes that feels good, right? I'm not saying it doesn't. But when we do it all the time and there's not a awareness of the head being in line with the neck, being in line with the shoulders, we create our own aggravation. Good. They call it tapas when we're in that state of agitation, especially if it's a state of agitation where we're about to make a breakthrough. It's tapas, right? Heat. So part of us might say like, oh, well, if you're right there about to make a breakthrough and you're on fire, you might as well throw kerosene on it, right? Really get there. No, that's painful and unnecessary. It's just stay. So you can just stay with it. Space opens up, and the space opening up is the progress, if you want to call it that. So one more breath, dropping your chest a little wider. Nice, Jan. And then walk yourself all the way back in, please. Nice job. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, and then take your right leg up and back behind you to down dog split. Good. Bend the knee, kick your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. Do a little circling with that knee. So circle, circle, circle. Good. And by circling the knee, I mean circle the hip. So don't just like wiggle your knee in the air, but actually move the move the leg in its full rotation. Good. And then lift and open, please, stacking the hip. Stay here, or optional, flip your dog. So take that foot back behind you, taking the hips up towards the sky. Take the right arm up and back behind you. So you're pushing into the left hand. So it's like you're into a little back bend. Good. But still, as you lift those hips, you're opening. Pull the arms up into the center of the back. Yes, really nice. And here, chest can open, throat can open. Excellent. And then unwind back to down dog split. Really good, Melody. Nice, Victoria. Good. Back to downward facing dog. Good. Left foot steps forward between the hands. Lunge. Drop the back knee. Use a blanket if you'd like. Inhale both arms to the sky. Anjaneyasana. Good. Nice, Debbie. Interlace the fingers, press the heels of the hands up towards the sky. So again, pulling up. And notice as you pull up, if you're just pulling your shoulders up to your ears but not lengthening your neck, that's not going to help. So you can pull up through your side ribs, but then push up through the crown of your head. Good. On an exhale, take your hands forward, please, rounding your back, pressing the hands straight out from the chest. Lift your hip points as you do that. So you're not pushing the hips forward, you're actually curling in. And then inhale the arms back up to the sky. Good. And then exhale, take the arms forward, curl and round, pull back and in. Good. And then inhale, arms up to the sky. Nice. And then exhale, take the arms forward, round into your back again. Good. And then arms up, inhale. Beautiful. And then release the hands, please, out and down. Both hands come to the inside of the front foot. Walk to the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Again, dropping down to your elbows if that's available, or using blocks, or staying on your fingertips. Good. Yeah. They hilariously, right? The suggestion of, oh, can I adjust the temperature in here? I'm like, sure. The minute you start adjusting the temperature is you have to keep adjusting it. Because now your mind is like, oh, if I'm uncomfortable, I'll just go move it. I'll just go fix it, right? And yeah, I'm not saying that you should, practice in a room that's too hot or too cold or whatever, definitely move things. But it's almost that same conversation, right? Of how we deal with discomfort. And how quickly do we just want to be able to press a button and say, I'll feel better? Or if I just run away from this, it'll go away. It's not like it's going to follow me for the next 15, 20 years. It's not the conversation I'll be having forever, wondering why it never changes. So that's the practice, is learning to just stay in that place that is maybe irritated, that maybe is insecure, that maybe is unsure, because that's the world we live in. And that's not to say that it's the world now, that's the world always. That's the embodied world. You cannot know everything the way your mind wants to know it, when it wants to know it. But when we are in that state of openness, anything we need to know is known when it's necessary to be known. That's the promise we're given. Our challenge is to be open. You don't become open by throwing yourself at your resistance and making it painful. One more breath, wide chest. Good. Walk your hands all the way back in, please. And lift that back knee up off the floor. And then take your left leg up and back, down dog split. Good. Bend that knee, kick your heel in towards your butt. Stack the left hip on top of the right. And again, circling the hip, circling the knee. Good. So it can be big or little movements. I just want you to feel like your thigh is moving in the hip socket, that you're not just wiggling the knee, but you're actually really rotating. Good. You got it, Allison. Nice, Beth. Good, Kristen. And then lift and open, please, stacking the hip. And then maybe this is where you stay, or you can bring that foot back behind you to flip your dog. So the left foot finds the floor, press into that right hand, take the left arm up and back behind you. So it's a little bit of a back bend. Again, lifting the hips up. So you're pushing into the feet and feeling the lift and openness through the pelvis. Good. And then unwind yourself, please. Really good. All the way back, downward facing dog. Good. Drop down to your knees, please. Good. Walk your hands forward. So your hips are on top of your knees. Walk your hands forward. Modified down dog. Good. Take your hands a little wider if you'd like. And then pressing into your hands, keep that sensation of a little bit of a lift through your inner elbows. dragging back on the upper arms just a little bit. Start to soften your heart towards the floor. So it's like you're drawing the shoulder blades towards the hips, up and back, but then you're getting softer and softer and softer behind the heart. So you're letting the front of the chest melt towards the floor. Don't drop your hips towards your heels. You're just letting the chest get more and more open, but keeping a little subtle lift to your armpits. Good. Maybe you get to the point where your chest does touch the floor and you can lift your chin forward. Good. Maybe you get to the point where your forehead rests to the floor. Maybe the floor is 10,000 miles away and that's where it stays. The point is that resistance of pushing into the hands, keeping the arms engaged and softening the upper back, making space. Keep your low belly engaged just a little bit. Tops of your thighs move back. Nice, Alana. Good. Call this Anahata Asana, heart chakra pose. Nice. One more breath wherever you are, just to get a little bit softer. Good. And then walk yourself back in, hands underneath the shoulders. Cat and cow. Good. Right. And I joke often about my early practice because, again, when you're not used to encountering resistance in your body, you practice yoga in a completely different way. Once you start meeting resistance, then suddenly you understand why certain poses are important. You understand why certain things are necessary. You understand that there is more of a process than just flinging yourself from pose to pose. So resistance is not a negative thing. Right? Resistance is often what gives us an indication that we are making progress, right? That there's space to open into because we've suddenly encountered an edge. Fantastic. Come back to neutral spine, please. Good. Drop your hips back to your heels, child's pose, widen the knees if you'd like. The question is what we do with that resistance continues to be the way that our mind is defining its relationship with irritation or with resistance. So if we've defined the way that we solve problems in our life in the way where we, again, try and blow them up, maybe that will work, but it is probably also very painful. The suggestion is, can you sit and be with what's there? Good. Then walk yourself back up, please. Come to sit, bring the bottoms of your feet together, knees wide, Baddha Konasana. You might be done standing up, I'm not sure. We'll see. You have to be okay with the uncertainty, exactly. Who knows? Good. Bottoms of the feet together, please. Curl your toes back. So again, there's this activity through your shins, right? So as you curl your toes back, this is also a great way, if you do have that tightness in your shins, is work a lot of movement through your feet and your ankles. It will help move it out. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Pulling up through your side ribs, squeeze your knees up just a little bit. So it's like, again, you're giving a little bit of a hug. And as you squeeze your knees up, you're pushing your groins down. And then lean forward, forward fold between the knees, but keep hugging the knees towards each other. So reach forward, extend, but legs super engaged. Good. Feel like your sit bones are lifting up and back. Nice. Pull your armpits forward just a little bit more, drawing those shoulder blades in towards the center of your back. So it's going to feel like your back gets less rounded. Good. Really good. And then release the hands down to the floor. Nice. Now you can let the head drop if you want it to. Keeping an awareness of your throat though. So if dropping the head feels like it's pulling on the shoulders or the back, you got to give a little bit of a lift back to it. Nice, Elisa. Good, you guys. Take one more breath, pressing your seat back and wide. And then walking yourself all the way back up. Beautiful. Cross the ankles, come forward onto hands and knees. Good. Downward facing dog for just a breath, promise. And then you're walking or stepping your feet or jumping to the top of your mat. Yep, come to the top of your mat. And you're coming into squat. And if you have a block, you can place a block underneath your seat in squat, because I want you to be able to be there for a little bit. So if squat is not an option and you don't have a block, then come back to Baddha Konasana. Yeah, so blankets underneath the heel if you need. Again, you can place a block underneath your seat if necessary. Good. And then hands can be at heart center, absolutely. So what you're doing here is a little pelvic floor work, right? So as you're here, you're squeezing the pelvic floor in and up. So that's all of those internal muscles from the very base of your spine. So the sex organs, sometimes it's referred to as like a Kegel, but it's more than that. Is you're squeezing everything in and up. Like there's this elevator that goes straight from your tail all the way up to your belly button. So you're drawing everything in and up on your inhale, and you're exhaling, you're releasing it. And as you inhale, you're saying Sat mentally, exhaling Nam. Inhaling Sat, squeezing in and up, exhaling Nam. Good, squeezing in and up, Sat, exhaling Nam. Good, so again, whatever position you need to be in to make this possible so that you're not obsessing over your legs, do that. And you're not here forever, so don't worry, but Sat, squeeze in and up, Nam. Good. Some of, I think, the most powerful practices are the ones that don't engage with any specifics, right? So the practice of Sat Nam, truth is my name. It's hard to argue with that. It's hard to place on that any of your other issues or things that you're struggling with, because it's so universal and non-specific. So it brings us back to that state of spaciousness. Again, change your seat when and if you need to. But keep doing the work. Sat, squeezing in and up. Nam, release. Good. So the more we engage with our resistance in a very specific way, the more we empower it. That's what it said, right? It increases our desire to avoid. So instead, can you just let it be there? Don't try and mess with it. Find space. I know, a couple more breaths like this. Imagine doing this for 31 minutes. Probably not in this position, but that's totally a Kundalini practice, right? 31 minutes of forgetting that you have any problems at all, because all you are immersed in is Sat Nam. And that's really the practice, is just sit with whatever is and immerse yourself in the space. And that's what we call progress, your ability to disengage with specifics, with resistance. Come back to space. Come back to that feeling of openness. One more squeeze and lift. Sat, Nam, release. Come on down to your seat, please. Good, stretching the legs out in front of you. And it was not a better or worse practice if you were in squat or not in squat, so don't worry. Stretch your legs out. Good, give them a little shake if they need. Good, flex your feet. Legs straight, point your toes. And then flex your feet. Point your toes. Flex your feet. Point your toes, working out your shins, right? Flex your feet. Point your toes. Flex and point, flex and point. And then do some ankle rotations, so moving the ankles, whatever direction they wish to go. Good. And then move them the other way. Beautiful. Good. And then come back to stillness, please. Flexing the feet, curling the toes back. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Exhale, bow forward, Paschimottanasana. So again, pressing your sit bones back as you lengthen your spine. Good. Reaching in the direction of your feet. Maybe you reach your feet, maybe you don't. If you do reach your feet, then hold the outer edges of your feet and pull the baby toe edges of your feet back as you push forward through the big toe mounds of your feet. Good. So that kind of opening the feet or opening the outer edges of the feet is going to help to, again, open up the outer edges of the legs. Gives you a little bit more balance. Good. Nice, you guys. So Andrew, just don't let your feet fall open. So keep them right up against each other. Nice. Last breath, press back through your seat. Good. And then come all the way back up, please. Nice job. Take your hands back behind you, fingers pointing towards your heels, palms flat. Good. Point your toes now. So we're coming into reverse plank. So if you know that position does not work for your shoulders or any other part of you, you can bend your knees here, plant your feet, and come into reverse table. But if you can, keep your legs straight, thighs together, point your toes, and then little bend to your elbows so you get your chest lifted, press into the hands, lift your hips up off the floor. So again, if the legs are straight, you're in like that, you're making like a slide with your body. Good. Or you can bend the knees, plant the feet, and lift into reverse table. Good, either one. So it's the same action on the back. One is just a different stretch on the hips and lower spine. Beautiful. Wherever you are, keep the length on your body. So you're lifting from the back of your heart, pressing into your feet either way. Good. And then slowly release. Come on back down. Nice job. Awesome, you guys. So opportunity to go upside down, whatever version you'd like. I personally feel like when my shoulders are bothering me, that headstand is one of my go-to, but that's because I really like headstand. So that might not be true for you. If you're feeling a little fatigued, headstand might not be a great idea. But whatever inversion speaks to you or whatever is available, if you have walls and you want to do handstand, headstand, great. If you want to just work preparation, again, working in dolphin can be a really wonderful way to continue to work at opening the shoulders and upper back, and you don't have to lift the legs, right? Still preparation for an inversion. Good. Shoulder stand, great option, maybe with a blanket underneath your shoulders, especially if the neck is a little bit irritated. You can have legs up the wall. Something that gives you the chance to go upside down. Nice, Lydia. I love it when people use their furniture very skillfully. Good, you guys. Nice, Kristen. Beautiful. Keep your breath moving wherever you are. If you're in shoulder stand or plow, remember that you are pressing down and wide through the tops of your shoulders, and your neck is actually extending. So you have that sense again of space between the shoulders and the ears. Nice, Anastasia. Nice, Elisa. Good, Jan. The practice is to just stay with what's there. Not to try to change it, not to try to get away from it. So I'd said we use the energy of tapas for our own enlightenment or for our spiritual progress. Again, that doesn't mean that if there's irritation that you should try and make it worse, because that's somehow going to get you there faster. But it means that the irritation is not a reason to run away. The irritation is a reason to sit and stay. Say, there's something very powerful there that if I don't avoid it, can maybe really help me understand. Couple more breaths wherever you are. And slowly start to make your way out of your inversion. If you are in headstand, handstand, and you want to take a few moments either in child's pose or virasana, do that. If you are in shoulder stand, you want to take a few breaths, resting with the knees bent, feet flat. Good. If you are in legs up the wall and you intend to stay there for the rest of your life, you can. I won't stop you. But if you want to come away from that, start to bring yourself away from the wall. And then everybody finds their way onto their backs. Nice, Ludmila. Nice, Maria. Good. Onto your backs, please. Bend your knees. Take your right ankle over your left thigh. And then lift that left shin parallel to the floor. Reach through to hold. Or maybe not. Again, if the shoulders and neck are tight and reaching for the thigh means that you have to hunch them up off of the floor, then choose to keep your shoulders nice and relaxed to the floor and just let the legs do the work. Good. Nice. One more breath. Feel the length of your spine, the wideness of your low back. Good. And then go ahead and switch. Take the other ankle over, left ankle over right thigh, reaching through to hold if you choose, or again, maybe keeping the shoulders relaxed and letting the legs hold themselves. Good. Being able to just stay. And stay not because you are avoiding moving forward, but staying with what's there without trying to make it more comfortable. Instead, seeking out where is the space where you can allow things to be as they are with uncertainty. And realizing that that practice never goes away. Right? We think we're going to get good at it and we're never going to have to pay attention to it again. Nope. It's one of those fundamental practices that you will forever, as long as you are in a body, have to remind yourself to seek out space and allow uncertainty. Good. Unwind the ankle, please. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Squeeze. Take the knees wide, reach for your ankles or the edges of your feet, inner or outer for happy baby. Let the knees move out towards the armpits. Good. And then hugging the knees all the way in towards the chest, please. Squeeze. Good. Then take your right thigh on top of your left, wrapping the legs like you would for eagle. So thighs wrap, inner shins wrap, or outer shins wrap, sorry. And then bring your knees slightly away from your belly so you find the whole length on your lower spine. Take the left arm over top of the right in front of your chest. You wrap the arms as well, so eagle pose on your back. Good. Don't let your hands fall onto your face, but do draw your arm bones, your armpits down and wide towards the floor. Good. And just find yourself here hugging into that spiral, right? Because that's what this pose does. It's a spiral, is that you're hugging the forearms in one direction, but your shoulders move back the other way. And you're squeezing your shins in one direction, but your thighs, your low back pulls back the other way. Good. So you're just finding your whole spine on the floor. Nice. One more breath. Don't let the knees sag or fall. Don't let the arms fall. Good, and then release, take the legs to the sky, take the arms to the sky. Good, again, finding your full low back. So you gotta move your thighs away from your belly just a little bit. Press up through your heels, deep breath in, optional exhale, lift your hands up to try and reach for your feet. So a little abdominal curl. Don't pull your feet towards you. Keep your low back on the floor. Just reach up through the upper body. There you go, totally different, right? And then release all the way back down. Good, come into eagle on the other side, please. Left thigh over top of right. Pressing the shins together, right arm over top of left in front of your chest, wrapping the forearms. Good. Again, not letting the hands fall onto the face. So you're trying to widen the space of your upper back here. So again, it's not a squeeze into your chest, but it's a pushing wide through the armpits. Same thing with your lower spine. Draw your knees away from your chest just a little bit more so that you can feel the last bit of your sacrum find the floor. Good. I know when we do pigeon standing up, we tend to want to go into that curl. One, because we think it's easier. And in some ways it is. So when you're on your back, don't go into that, right? Find the length of your spine. And then imagine being in this position standing up where you can be vertical, wide shoulders. Keep your shins pressing together. Just because you're on your back doesn't mean you're not working. Even if you're double wrapping the ankles, press your shins together so your knees are not just falling in. Especially if you're double wrapping the ankles, you got to push your inner knees slightly wide. Good. Last breath, don't drop the hands, draw the armpits down and wide. Good, unwind please, legs to the sky, arms to the sky. Again, keeping the low back anchored to the floor, so your thighs have to come away from your belly just a little bit. So Andrew, thighs away just a little bit more, Ludmila, thighs away just a little bit more. And then optional on that exhale, if you wanna reach just your upper body, curls in and up to reach towards your feet. Don't curl your legs in. I know, keep your low back pressed to the floor. Yeah, and then release, please. Nice job. Draw the knees in towards your chest. Good. Do a little circling with your knees. Massage the lower back. You did 2 abdominal curls. That's your ab work for the week. Right? That's how it works?
Yes.
That's how it works. Yep. Good. And then knees in towards the chest, please. Spinal twist of your choice. You can certainly keep the knees together and just scoot your hips to the left, drop your knees to the right. You can pull one knee in towards your chest and come across the body, the other leg straight. You can wrap the thighs back into that eagle position and take your twist that way. Spinal twist of your choice. Good, and then come back to center, please. Take the twist of your choice to the other side. Maybe the same one you did on the first side, maybe a different one. And then finding your way back to center, please. Squeeze the knees in towards your chest. Bring your forehead up to meet your knees and hug. Good. And as you release, really release, let the legs come out in front of you. Arms alongside you. Let the feet drop open. Let the palms spin up. The idea in Shavasana is to allow yourself to take up space. So maybe move the arms a little further away so that you're not touching the sides of your body. Move your legs a little further away. Good. And then practice just being, which means that you let the mind go where it goes. You can keep it focused on the breath if you want. But practice that disengaging, that as thoughts come into the mind, as you don't try to push them away, you simply disengage. Let them float by. If they're important, they'll come back. Even if they're not important, they'll come back. Find yourself disengaging and just allowing space. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath. Let the body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And as you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and roll to your right side. Taking a moment before you begin to push the floor away, come back to an upright seated position. Hands coming to rest at the heart, palm to palm. Just mentally, internally raise a hand if you spent your Shavasana thinking about 1,000 things. Yep. Smile at yourself. And that you realize as soon as I started saying to deepen your breath, you're like, shit, I didn't do Shavasana. Smile at yourself. It's really okay. The thing is that this is a constant practice. It's a forever practice that you will reach for that space or that openness, and your mind will do what it does. And you'll hit those resistant moments and you'll want to avoid and run away. And sometimes you will, and then you'll come back. That this is forever our practice. So that when you find yourself doing that, you just smile at yourself and say, well, there's something powerful that's trying to move here. And that it's not up to me to try and force it to move faster, but to just keep reaching for the space. And to catch myself maybe a little earlier next time, thinking my way through Shavasana and say, just stop. Take a deep breath and just stop. And this is the practice over and over and over again. So however you find yourself meeting those moments of resistance, is don't avoid them, don't run away. Smile at yourself and reach for the space. And that's what we call progress. You keep coming back to reaching for the space instead of running that circuit of the thinking. So next Shavasana, guaranteed you will go somewhere fantastic. Deep breath in for the sound of Om. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, great rest of your weekend, your week till I see you again. Heads up, next Sunday for the 4th, I am teaching normal 9:30. So if you're interested, I'll be here in the studio, online, whatever. But I think that's the only class on the schedule. I won't be doing meditation that day, but I will teach the 9:30 class. And I think that's it for the day. Also, just be aware of the couple of new things that are up on the schedule, and that Linda's 8 a.m. yin class on Sundays is going to be going hybrid, so in person and online starting July 11th, I believe. So the opportunity to do double whammies where you come to the studio and do yin and then this class is available again. But yeah, there's a couple new things on the schedule. Keep your eyes open for more stuff, and I will see you soon.
Thanks, Veronica.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.